is the body. The left shoulder goes upwards. The body has much more of a seesaw type action. Less rotation. The transfer of weight will be less, and the pressure will be less because we have to shallow the club down. Hi everyone, Alistair Davies here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in today. Today's lesson is all about steep versus shallow downswings. Okay. Shallow is definitely the sexy word on the market at the moment, but we're going to talk about the difference between steep and shallow. And we're going to talk about decent transitions in both terms. So the steep one will still be something that will be decent, and the shallow is just going to be shallower. So the difference between the two, the advantages, and how matchups are going to be different with both. So we're going to talk through those a little bit, okay? If you are new to the channel, please consider following and subscribing. I post 3 videos a week on a variety of subjects, all designed to help improve your knowledge, lower your scores, and make you enjoy the game a lot more. During the video, if you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. That also helps a lot. So keep watching to learn the difference between the steep and the shallow downswing and the pros and cons. So we're going to look at the difference between, let's class it, a good player steep downswing and a good player shallow downswing. Okay, so the pros and cons, the matchups they have to do, the release patterns and how things are going to work differently. But more importantly, how it affects the body, okay? So let's go to the top of the backswing. So let's show you first of all, if I had a shallow downswing, it would look a little bit more like this. And if I had a steeper downswing, it would look a little bit more like that. So the steeper one, the butt of the club will point probably inside the ball line or close to the ball line. You could probably say on the ball line would be okay, but the shaft definitely would be more vertical. If the shaft was more horizontal, even if it pointed on the ball line or just above, that would be a shallower one. I'm quite happy for the club to point above the ball line with a shallow transition, as I would class it. Now with a shallow transition on the way through the golf ball, the shoulders are going to have a lot more rotation, the body's going to have a lot more rotation, and we're going to try and basically shift the pressure as we rotate. Now the steeper one, about there, what we're going to see from here is the body, the left shoulder go up more, so the body have much more of a seesaw type action in it, less rotation. The transfer of weight will be less, or transfer of pressure will be less, because we have to shallow the club down the bottom here. So what that means is there's less rotation in the body and less pressure shift in the body generally at the end of the swing anyway. The pressure shift might be more here, okay, then less in this area of the golf swing. Whereas the guy that's shallower would have less pressure shift here and more pressure shift later, okay. To make that clear, they'd probably have the same pressure at impact, but the body would be, in my opinion, stalling more through impact with a steeper transition than a shallower transition. There are ways around matching that up as well, but the key point is if you get the same pressure at impact, the pressure is not really the consideration here. Consideration is really, with the guy with a steep downswing, the shoulder angle is going to be much deeper here. The hand pattern is going to be much more to the right and much more flippy. And for the guys that are shallower, the left shoulder goes round the body much quicker and lower, and the handle will come in much more around the corner, and the hands will be far less more passive. Now, at the moment of impact, if the club face is square on both, the angle of attack is the same on both, it don't make a difference. It does not make a difference. The steeper transition might hurt you back more long term. The steeper transition under pressure might break down more, in my opinion, because it's more reliant on timing of the body kind of backing up to shallow the club at the bottom. Whereas the one where the body's rotating hard and fast, you're using bigger muscles on a rotational sense and hands less. And the hand path is more passive. So for me, it's more consistent. If you're the golfer that can't shallow the club, then you better have a steep shoulder angle. If you're the golfer that can't rotate your body enough because of flexibility, you're probably better off having a slightly either steeper transition or a shorter swing so that you can get into the right positions quicker. So different matchups if need be. The key thing is just understanding the matchups you might have and the advantages. So for me, if we can, I'd always encourage players to try and have a bigger body turn on the way back, a shallow transition, and the club that goes around the corner as much as possible. From teaching a lot of good players, the big issues they have is big blocks and big hooks, and that happens when the hands get too active through the ball and we see their hand path and the right shoulder, the stability of it, become very, let's say, negative. So the right shoulder comes away from the body, the hands go away from the body, and then the club is being fished at the ball, flapped at the ball, and it means they'll get beautiful little tight draws and good shots and huge hooks, huge blocks and bad shots. And if that happens on the 18th hole of a tournament, they feel under pressure, whether that be a monthly medal or a major championship, you know, it's not great. If they're mentally good enough, you know, to support this and it's consistent and it's the timing's great all the time, then great. On a side note for that, for timing, Jim Furyk, okay? You'd look at his golf swing sometimes and think, oh, I wouldn't fancy that. But a friend of mine tested him for 100 shots. 97 out of 100 had the same time. And that's what I'm talking about, timing. If your timing's that good and the club delivers in the right place, you're going to be pretty brave to disrupt that pattern. So, shallow in the transition and turning onto the ball would be my preference. So, top of the swing, shallow it out, turn on. So you'll find there a lot of rotation to get the club square, but you're definitely feeling that shallowing. Doing drills like that, don't worry about the contact. The contact will be poor. You can try and build that into your full swing. And then we can get into a better place. So I hope you've enjoyed this kind of discussion on the topic of steep versus shallow. Shallow is definitely the in trend, and I would agree with that totally. It's definitely what I'd want my players to do if they can. If they can't, I teach the person, not the position. So we do what we can to make the person play better, always. So if you have enjoyed it, please like and share the video. If you have any questions or any requests or any comments or any feedback, post them down below, please. Also, if you haven't followed me or subscribed, please do so. I post videos every week on a variety of subjects, all designed to lower and improve your golf. So, love to have you on board and I'd love to have you join my channel. So thank you for watching. Hope you're staying safe. See you again here soon.